everyone, well, thank you, already knows, we have Level Up coming. So that is coming up on April 30th. We are so excited. So Angie, you need to get your ticket and get your butt up here. And Jackie, I already saw you got your ticket. Jackie scheduled her vacation around Level Up. So everybody else should do that too. I know that Jennifer has her ticket already. And Kate, I don't know if you're coming or not, but you should. So today, Brooke and Marissa are taking over for us, and they're going to be talking about building a brand. I don't remember the title. I'm sorry. I should have been more prepared. But
it's building a brand that actually stands out, I think. Yeah.
Yes, love that. I think as we all know in real estate, we're a dime a dozen, but we have to stand out in some way. And I think building a brand is one of those ways, building a recognizable brand. I'm not saying that we're going to be the Starbucks of real estate, but think about recognition of certain logos, certain things. It without, if you've ever done those quizzes, without the name on the logo, half the time you know what it is. But if you can do that by replicating that kind of same recognition on socials by just staying consistent with your marketing. So without taking any much more of your time, Brooke and Marissa, I'm going to let you guys take over and head this one up.
Perfect. Well, thanks for having us back on here. We're excited to come and chat with the community again. Brooke's usually on here. I try and jump on as often as I can. So we love seeing some familiar faces and getting to chat with you guys all again. Brooke, you want to share your screen? You've got the slideshow, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. And we'll probably jump in and out of slideshow because I feel like I don't like that I don't get to see faces as much or interact as much. Like this will definitely be like mastermindy. So if anyone has questions or they have feedback, or Nicole, you've got things to add, like please feel free to jump in, unmute anytime. This is not like we're just talking at you for the next 40 minutes. So
right. Perfect. Okay, Marissa, do you want to start? You want me to start? I want to go.
Yeah, this one's actually, so this is a newer like presentation we're putting together. So we have been working on like branding we're almost a year now into our brand. And it's something that I feel like just naturally has kind of come up in a lot of our conversations with our clients. So when Nicole was talking to us about putting together a presentation for it, like it's natural, right? Like these are things that need to be a part of the behind the scenes of your business. And that's really like our specialty and what we work on hands-on with our clients. So it just kind of like naturally came together, which is always fun. So really the biggest part of it is just having that thing that's authentic to you. And that's where we'll kind of like dive into some of the different topics and mastermind a little bit about it. But like truly don't overcomplicate it, right? Like whatever you're going to hear me probably say natural a million times, or you're going to want to punch me in the face. Like that's the thing that I think helps anyone, right, come up with a brand or come up with something recognizable. Is it's what just happens on their own. Like what is you, what's authentic to you, what's the colors. Like if you're not a bright pink girl, don't go be a bright pink fan then, right? Because otherwise that doesn't feel natural. You're not going to want to wear it. You're not going to want to post it. It doesn't feel authentic. And people just tell, they pick up on that. So that's really like the biggest thing that we'll kind of talk and intertwine throughout all these different topics. Brooke, if there's anything specific on the slides that you wanted to make sure we touched on, otherwise I'll probably just kind of hop around from my different thoughts that we had that we talked about.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess the main point that when I was thinking about this presentation is obviously we're real estate agents as well, right? But we are in more of an operations standpoint. So when we were building our brand, I mean, it is a little bit different than a real estate agent, right? But all the foundations are the same. So something that we've realized is a lot of people say like, oh, I get all of my leads from networking, right? I network with other agents, they send me referrals, or I'm part of a community on Facebook, or like Nicole is part of a magazine for a neighborhood, right? Like, but all of these things are from networking. A lot of people get leads from social media. Social media is the same thing as networking. You're just doing it with a community of people online, right? at the end of the day, people work with who they know, like, and trust, right? Which is why if you were on a couple weeks ago, Nicole even made the comment of like, we should be talking in our stories on social media if you're looking to use social media to get leads, because somebody wants to know how you sound, what you look like. They want to get to know you, right? And that's the thing with social media, is that we get to know somebody before we even meet them. And Nicole has that happen to her all the time, where she's out in public and someone will come up to her and be like, oh my gosh, you're Nicole from Instagram, right? I actually weirdly connected to that. Yesterday, I went and showed a house to a new client, never met her in my life. And when I saw her, I was like, she looks familiar. And I couldn't figure out how. She is a Metro Detroit influencer on Instagram. She has like 60,000 followers. I DM'd her. I was like, I knew you were familiar. I've been following you for like 2 years. Like, but I know this person through Instagram, and now I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm already like connected to her way more than I was, when I met her. So my point of this is that a lot of the times we overcomplicate how we're getting leads or building our brand. And at the end of the day, everything coincides one another. And that's what really has worked well for me and Marissa, is that we post consistently on social media a ton, right? And consistency is where you always win. But we're consistently posting on social media, but then we're consistently showing up in the community. So when we're showing up for like Nicole, we work with Nicole, but we're going to be at Level Up, right? We're showing up places that she's at. We're building relationships with people that she's surrounded with, because we love Nicole. So we're going to love who Nicole surrounds herself with, right? So it's the same thing with all of our clients. We try to stay really involved in the communities that they're in, and that's how we continue to grow, which we'll talk more about that too. But basically that the two things really coincide, and that you need to not just be focused on that one thing, you need to be everywhere, which is what Marissa likes to always say. So we have to be everywhere all the time. You have to be a billboard, right?
Yes. That's my billboard effect that I'll usually talk about with our clients, or you guys have maybe even heard me say it on previous masterminds that we've been on here with other people, again, because we're kind of intertwined throughout this community and then this community's community. So that's something that we talk about a lot, is like, it's just showing up everywhere all the time. It does not need to be perfect. It does not need to be overthought. You don't need to have some crazy professional logo and all of these crazy expensive things and crazy websites and 17 systems and all these things. Just show up, just be everywhere all the time. And like, I feel like that feels a little overwhelming for some people, but it really doesn't need to be that complicated. Like, Canva can be your friend, and Canva is free, and social media is free. Showing up to events are usually free or very minimal cost, right? And it very much applies, like, again, this is real estate just as much as it is networking with other realtors for business. So we want to show up to our friends' chili cook-off party, right? Nicole just did one of those for a client / networking event. So show up to the neighborhood events, show up to the block party, show up to the kids' school things. It's showing your face and just being everywhere, because then you're staying top of mind. An email newsletter, that's another thing that Brooke and I preach and do a lot with our clients, because it's a super inexpensive or free way to stay in front of people every single week and post stuff that's fun. Don't share boring keeping current matters data, right? Like, no one wants to look at that in their email, so they're never going to open it. But if you say, hey, I just went and tried this cute new coffee shop opened up in downtown, blah, 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 then, and it was awesome. Here's my little picture. Here's my scone I tried. You guys should go and check it out with the link and directions. I'm going to open that because I want to go to that cute coffee shop too. So and then if you post about that on your social media, and hey, don't miss out. I send out email newsletters every week with fun things that I'm always up to and new places to try and tickets and blah, 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 right? Like, then people will join your newsletter. So it's that cycle. It's showing up to events. We talk about these things. I share my events in my newsletter and on my social media, and it all just mixes together. And all of those things are free to very low cost. It's just time and effort. But then I'm showing up, I'm being myself. It's not even so much about like my RU brand or my relatable realtor brand. It's just Marissa showing up to these different things and connecting with as many people as possible. But then they know those brands because that's tied. It's on my newsletter. It's on my website. It's on my social media. It's on all of the things that they're getting. So then when they're ready and they're like, oh yeah, Marissa's in real estate, she just posted about this. So you sprinkle it in, but the point is just being yourself. Show up to what's natural to you. If you have kids, do all the kid stuff. If you're older and you're more that empty nester style, then maybe you're showing up on the pickleball courts or whatever your friends are doing, right? Because just show up to what makes sense to you. And that's where you'll end up meeting the most amount of clients and people that naturally connect with you. Which again, sorry about the natural 700 times.
Yeah. But this is so true. I mean, one, to like go back, because you were talking, Marissa talks very fast, everybody. So, but I want to go back really quick. So talking about like showing up everywhere, it's almost an illusion though. Like I do think what you're saying, go to the things, be a part of the stuff, post what you're doing, that's great. But I think if you're doing, like, if you're going to go, you're going to post on Instagram, post it on Facebook, Reels, your story, all the stuff, you're hitting people on all these different levels with the same content. But people have this illusion that you're doing all these things and you're everywhere. And oh my gosh, sorry, I'm seeing you everywhere, you know, but really they're not. They're just seeing you on Facebook and they're just seeing you do this or that. But I think showing up consistently makes people feel like they're seeing you everywhere. So even if like I don't consistently post on Facebook all the time, however, I'm starting to realize that there's a lot. I posted something the other day for my daughter to fill out this form. I had so much engagement on this silly little form. My daughter needed 150 people and we had well over 200 some fill it out. And I was like expecting way more to come from Instagram, and it all came from Facebook because those are my relationships. So like I had a little like brain switch. I was like, huh, maybe I should be working a little bit more on Facebook than on Instagram, even though I like Instagram's platform better. But consistency regardless. And community stuff, like you were talking about, like, oh, I'm trying this scone. Sorry, my nose is running. I'm trying this scone at this new coffee shop. I love it. Like Brooke is really good about posting about when she goes to like a coffee shop to work. And you know, one day I remember a post she did where she was like, I matched the aesthetic here, and she had like the similar colors on and different stuff like that. Like I remember those things because it was like relatable, or I thought it was like cute, you know, that she did that. So I think just making sure you're, you know, keeping that authenticity, you know, like who you actually are outside of real estate. Like you live in this community, you participate in this community. Remember that you live here. So why not document that and show what it's like? Sorry to take over.
No, that was a good feedback, and I do talk fast. So again, please unmute, interrupt, ask more questions anytime, or you guys call it out and we can double down on whatever you want. Just to add one more thought on yours, Nicole, because I loved it, is and this is my pregnancy brain for the love. I had a note and then now it's gone. So we'll come back to it. Moving on, Brooke, keep going.
So basically back on this track is just when you're thinking of branding, I think it's really hard with real estate sometimes that we're like, okay, I'm a real estate agent. Like I need a brand, right? Like I need something that's mine. It's my logo. Like what's going to be my thing. And you really need to look at your brand as not just being your logo, it's your experience, right? So I even made a comment to Marissa, like our logo is we like it. It's our logo. It's great. It's ours, but I don't put it on a hat because it's going to make other people come up to me and say, oh, what's that on your hat? What is that logo on your hat? No one's really going to ask you that for the most part, right? They're going to probably know that it's mine. It's my logo for my company, but that's about it. The logo on the hat is for me and my brand recognition and for it just to be associated with me. It's not to gain new business. How I'm going to gain new business is by feelings and experiences that people have with my business, right? So I think that sometimes we have that disconnect, is that we think, okay, I put so much time into what my brand is going to look like on paper and less into what the experience is and what they get is being part of that brand, right? So we kind of go by this thing with raving fans. It's something that Marissa developed at the current team that we were working with for the Mark Z team. And it's stuck and it's amazing. And it's something that we took into our own business too. And we have found, like we said, like social media and our current clients, we have found that we want to do really well and give great service to our clients so that they become raving fans for us, which leads us to more referrals, which leads to more business. And in all reality, if Nicole refers us, she's not referring 𝗏 consulting, right? She's referring, oh my God, Marissa and Brooke, they did this for me. It's amazing. And I had a great experience, right? So when we complete things, she feels really good, right? And oh my gosh, I really saw things move and they really took all this off my plate. I feel relief. That's what's selling us, right? And that is everyone that she's referred us to, that they're having the same feeling. And now they're like, oh my gosh, I do feel so relieved. And that's kind of like one of the new feelings that we're getting. We're like, okay, so that's what we solve that problem. We solve a feeling problem. We bring you relief in your business, right? So
Brooke, go back to that for 1 second. Go
Yep.
back to that slide for just 1 second. So 2 things to write down really quick are Working Genius. And then there's a book that I cannot for the life of me think of the name of it, but that's where I got raving fans from. It's like 1,000 raving fans. If you look that up, you'll be able to find the book, I'm sure. But it talks about 1,000 raving fans and like you're set for your entire life. Like you will never have to worry about money again if you can just get 1,000 raving fans. Because that 1,000 people, right? That's the referral circle. That's them coming back, repeat clients. They're going to invest in every single thing. They're going to comment on every single thing. They share every single thing. So if you can just get 1,000 people in your database that love you, that cheer you on, that say good things about you, like that's what will change your life and your business. And it's a whole book about that, like how to find that, how to curate that, how to love on those people and take care of them. So that book, again, I don't remember the name,
Is it
sorry,
just
but
called Raving Fans?
I don't think so, but it might be. It's been a minute since I've read it. I also on my Instagram have a
if you
whole book
find it,
club,
Marissa,
like
post
highlight.
it
Yeah,
in
I can post
MAB.
in the Facebook
Find it.
group. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
It's gotta be in my highlight on my Instagram reel. If you want to look at that for a second, Nicole, just while we're chatting, or I can go back and look it up later. But yeah,
looking
there's a book in there, and then Working Genius is the other one to write down because it's a $25 like assessment of how you work and where you like to work and how your brain functions, the tasks that you thrive in, the things that bring you joy, all of that. And why that matters is because there's a big piece of this that it's the wondering, it's the start of all of the working process. And if you're not a wonderer, then you probably don't take the time to just stop and wonder, what is my client's experience, right? We just typically, we're moving too fast. We're doing 700 things. We're on to the next deal, next deal, next deal. What am I posting? Oh, I have to be everywhere. Oh, I have to do all these things. But we don't stop and say, what's my client experience like? What do I want it to be like? What do I want their closing to feel like? And do I like the way these emails are being received and read? When's the last time you sent yourself an email that you sent out to your clients? What does your signature look like? Do all the buttons work? What do they experience when they go to your website, right? So those are the things that matter and help build those raving fans because they have trust then for that experience. And if they do end up moving with you, working with you in any capacity, referring something to you, do I get a gift card? What is that experience like? Am I given a treat to try and refer you more business of some sort? Is there an event once a year that I get invited to? So it's those types of like wondering things that if you don't naturally have that, you probably never slow down to stop and ask. Wondering is one of my geniuses. It drives a lot of people nuts because I stop and ask a lot of questions, but they're experience based. And that's what makes sure that people have this amazing raving experience. So they come back, they love us, and we're building that database together. We're building the fans. So that's something that we do with a lot of people is we stop, we slow down, we ask good questions, and then great. Okay, now we know what we want that experience to be. We know what emails we want to go out. We're not just haphazardly doing things reactionary. We're doing it with intention. We're doing it because we know what the results are going to bring. And then we can pour gas on that fire. And that's when, again, it really takes off. When we can get that 1,000 raving fans, we're intentional with our process, we've thought through it, then that's the gold mine right there.
So unfortunately, you do not have it in your highlights.
No? Okay.
No. However, I mean, looking it up, there is that Raving Fans book. I'm not seeing anything other Raving Fans books, so it's gotta be that one.
It's gotta just be that one then. I feel like that was too obvious, but maybe that's all it is.
yeah, I think that might be it. But I've heard good things about that book, so I think that might be the one you're talking about. I have heard
That's
about that.
probably it. Okay, Brooke, keep us
Okay.
going. What's next?
So, the next thing is the power of storytelling. So again, like I just said, that everything's experience-based, right? It's not your business, it's the experience. So same thing with storytelling, right? Facts tell, stories sell. So I don't know if you guys knew this, but your about page is one of the most clicked pages on your website. Almost always. So as women, which I know we're all women here right now, but as women, we connect to stories, right? So when someone tells a story that pulls on our heartstrings, that makes us, you know, we buy into them. Men do too, but primarily for women, it's 100% the story that sells us, right? So I've even noticed with me and Marissa, like our story, like it wasn't a joke, but it kind of was a joke. Like it was always, are you a Brooke or are you a Marissa? And that's why like I tell the story like on one of our forms that we have. At the bottom, there's like a whole about section, and I tell the story about how we worked late one night. We were the only ones left in the office. We had a 𝗡𝗶𝗯𝗃 salad that we were splitting, and we were like, let's start an LLC. One day we're gonna start this company. And she went to the bathroom and she came back out and she was like, I got it. It's 𝗏𝗏. Like, we're gonna call it 𝗏𝗏. And we created this business over salad on a late night on a Tuesday, right? And it's a cute little story and people love it. Like it's funny. And same thing with everything we pretty much do. Like we tell stories and then next thing you know, we have more business, right? So I think that sometimes we forget that, but your brand needs to have a story that people remember, right? Like Nicole has Nest. So her brand needs to have a story behind it, right? Elevated living, one nest at a time. What does that mean? Right? So if you're not telling this story, then how are people going to connect with that brand? So that's one thing we've learned is that our brand is literally just a story and then we have a name for the story, right? Marissa, do you have something to add? I saw you on and off.
Yeah, sorry. And I don't know if I'm ever like too loud because I am in just like a coffee shop. So I try and not just keep my mic open. Yeah, my thought on that was that's why I don't know if you guys like look much into marketing and what's working, what's not, or try and keep up with trends. But right now, carousels on Instagram are converting really, really well because you make a story out of it and you're getting people to engage and scroll. And it's the story aspect, right? So you hook them with like, oh my gosh, I just had the craziest inspection ever, right? Like that's the first slide on your carousel. It can be the exact same picture every time. The picture does not need to change. And it can be me sitting at this coffee shop and can have nothing to do with the inspection. It can just be because I'm putting my little story together here while I'm sitting here, right? So it does not all have to be relevant. It does not have to be the highest quality in the world. Stop overcomplicating it and just tell a story to connect with people. But my hook's crazy inspection, right? Then I'm going to go and tell the story. I break it up. Most people, I think at this point, have access to 20 slides in their carousel. Some, it was beta for a little while. Some might still have 10. You might have 20. So just check before you post because then you can break it up over as many slides as you want to, which again, Canva's your friend. Or now you can edit pictures directly in Instagram too, whatever's easier for you. But just scroll, you're going to break it up. So if your crazy story was, there was this water thing, right? And then some guy showed up at the house while you were there for inspection, and then he knew about something else and told you, and then you walk outside and you met this neighbor, right? Like if there's these crazy, silly things that happen, it's the stories that connect with people. And then you can tell them how you got over it and walked your client through it and eased them. And then we ended up moving forward and it was the best house ever. And they're so happy. And now we're clear to close, right? So it's the story. No one really cares about your just listed, just closed, whatever. Again, it's billboard effect. We want to do those things. Post them. Don't stop posting all of your business and your activity, but we convert them and we show them your quality. We show them your personality. We show what experience they're going to have by telling that story in that carousel, working them through. I had this crazy experience. Here's what happened. Here's how I got over it. Here's the result that my client had. So it's the stories behind it. That's what converts. We've got another client that does every home has a story with each closing. And sometimes they're honestly not that like over the top. There's not always a crazy situation that happens with every closing, right? But she's made a consistent theme out of this where every single time she takes her picture with her clients that are closing, she posts that on Instagram and Facebook, and then she tells the story. And if it's just simple and everything went smooth, then great. Like, that's also nice to know that like not every transaction is a hot mess and we had to overcome things, right? Like, they found their dream house. They had been looking for a while. We found it and we did this. We got them this. I was able to negotiate it great. And then they had an awesome, smooth closing. Everything was perfect and they're going to live happily ever after. Like, tell the story behind it. And that's still a good answer. It doesn't have to be crazy and exciting in these hooks, but it's putting the story in front of your audience with a picture, and then it sticks out. We're showing up everywhere. That's the key.
Yeah.
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 Love that. Yeah.
Yeah. What she said.
Well, and to go really quickly on that, stories sell even like that helps you even in your day-to-day life with your clients, you know, when they're trying to negotiate a deal. Hey, you know, I know that, you know, I had this one client who this, and happened. You know what? Ended up working out beautifully. Or that really discouraged buyer who's lost several offers. You know, I had a client once and they were in the same boat. They had lost so many offers and they were so discouraged. They were getting ready to rent. They were just so frustrated. And then the perfect house came along and we hopped on it and it worked out beautifully. And, you know, like having those types of stories, or, you know, maybe it's a negative one where like I had this client who they didn't want to listen to this and they wanted to go their own route. And then this happened. And, you know, I don't want that to happen for you. So I think there's a storytelling is a great thing to learn how to do.
So true, Nicole. And let's be real, they don't even have to be 100% factual. We can fluff a little bit just to help like get our clients around, especially when you're using it on that first, like that side of it, right? If we're trying to help persuade them to like what we know is the right answer. We're the expert here. We are the experienced one. We've been there, done that. And we're just trying to save them from some of these same experiences or help them win, right? Like, maybe it's a multiple offer situation. It's like, hey, I had a client who lost by $1,000 on this last one. Would you be open to an escalation clause to try and help us not let that be you? Or if we end up losing by 1,000, like I'll use that as a rule of thumb sometimes. Like, okay, what is the number where if we find out that the only thing that held us back from this house was we lost by $1,000, you're like, I'm good. I'm okay with that answer. We did our absolute best. Like, I am so fine that it was over $1,000. What is that number? Think about that. Give me that, and that's what we write. We're going to write up to that, because if this is your best one, this is your dream house, then I want to make sure that it's not over something silly where you're like, oh my God, that would have been $1 different on my freaking mortgage. Like, yeah, we should have just did that. So as long as we get up to that number, right? So then you can kind of help use these stories to help them win, help them down the path that you know is the right answer. So I love that addition, Nicole. Thank you.
So this kind of goes with all of that too, right? Just saying like, you know, it's real estate isn't about houses, it's about people. That's kind of what we're saying. We want to make sure we're telling stories. So an example that I like to use is something that actually happened to me, and I just call it the charity example because emotion is really what drives action, right? And so I hear about all these different charities, as I'm sure all of you do, right? We all know that all these charities need help and need contributions from us, right? So I know that there are plenty of communities and places in Africa where they don't have clean drinking water and, you know, kids aren't well taken care of and they need more resources, right? I know that. I know there's charities for it, but I don't do anything about it, right? That's not my charity of choice. That's not what I choose. So I went to an event and someone got on stage and they told me a story about a little boy and how his family can't afford to put food on his table. They don't have clean drinking water, and that him and his siblings, when they go to bed at night, if it rains, they get completely rained on all night long because they don't have a roof on their home. And he showed us pictures of these kids covered in mud because they don't even have grounds in their home. It's just, they live in pure mud. They don't get to go to school, and this poor kid somehow is trying to learn how to read, and they don't even have proper schooling for him. And just tugging at my heartstrings, right? And then they compared it to if you give it's $40 a month, right? So which is a little more than $1 a day. So then they compared it, well, how much do you spend when you go out to eat? So if you would give up going out to eat one day a week or one day a month out to dinner, you can change this little boy's life, and he can have a roof over his head, and he doesn't have to sleep in rain and mud. Let me tell you, I didn't even leave the event. And I sponsor this child. Okay. So I get letters from him and everything, but you didn't have to sell me. I was sold. As soon as you started explaining the experience of what these kids were going through, there was no way I wasn't donating, right? But if they would have just told me, here's this community in Africa and it's a charity where you can donate money so these kids have a better life. Well, I don't want to say I'm not doing it. That sounds bad, but I'm probably not as inclined to say yes. There was no way I was saying no after being told the story and the emotion that came out of it, right? So I think in general, that's just, another play on same thing in real estate, how Nicole was saying, like, they were so ready to give up, but they didn't, right? There was that new Netflix special out with that comedian that everybody's talking about, Andrew Schultz, I think his name is, or something Schultz. And it's a Netflix special about life. And he shows a video screen of him and his wife and like him giving his wife shots for in vitro and stuff. And he's like, we just had our daughter. And like, I just want to tell you guys, like, keep going, like, keep pushing, like anybody who's out there struggling. And I'm like, oh my God, I like started crying. I'm not even trying to have a baby. I don't even know what, like, I'm bawling my eyes out over how happy I was that they made it through this experience, right? So it's the same thing if you just pull the emotional card and people just, it's more relatable and they're more likely to say yes or lean into you, right? Pivot a little bit here. Branding shoots. So me and Marissa are the biggest fans of branding shoots, like hands down. But branding shoots are absolutely nothing if you don't do them intentionally, right? They should be completely done with strategy. So ours, as you've seen throughout some of our slides here, there's pictures of me holding our business cards, covering our faces. There was pictures of flyers of our logo, like spread all over the floor, right? The one of Marissa, like it's on the water bottle, but it's in frame. We took multiple pictures knowing that, hey, we might do some speaking engagements. We need to make sure we have a good photo to give out for when we're speaking, right? What's your headshot? Okay, well, here we go. We needed photos for Instagram. We wanted things that we could reuse. We wanted things to represent who we are as people, right? Almost every picture of Marissa has coffee in it. Like, you know what I mean? Like we did, yes, like we are big coffee people, and we did pictures with a microphone. So like if we're speaking, like there can be a picture with a microphone, like, hey, we're speaking at this event, right? So Marissa can
Props
go.
are your friends.
Go ahead.
That's my biggest note I'll give you is props are your friend. Bring 7 million props and outfits that you don't think you would ever possibly use or need, because that's what I think ended up making our shoot so successful. Is I'm just an overpacker in everything I do in life. So I brought way more crap than I ever would actually need. And we used like half of it. And then we ended up making all of these cool things. And like a good photographer makes the world of a difference too, right? Like that's another one. Make sure it matches your style, the editing. I'm not dark and moody. Like there's some really cool photographers out there where they have amazing work, but I just don't feel like I would have been as comfortable because I'm not that like dark, moody, sexy, whatever type person. Like I'm fun, I'm bubbly, I'm over the top. Like, yeah, I want to look good. Yeah, I want to feel empowered. Yes, I have like emotions that I'm trying to elicit. But like if this editing style and the results of that photographer don't align with it, then it's just not gonna happen, right? In your shoot. It's gonna be so much harder to elicit the result you're looking for, you're confident what you're gonna want to use because their editing style is different. And so because I found a good photographer, which actually Nicole recommended her, and we did a shoot where then she just kind of took it, like I laid all my props out and she was like, great, let's use this here. And she helped put it all together because that's her creative eye, right? I don't necessarily have the creative eye. I know what I'm trying to accomplish. I know what my feelings are. I know what I want to use it for. but I don't necessarily know how to style it or like make me look good or like where do my hands go, right? Like that's one thing I like hear a lot or will talk a lot is like, where do my hands go? What do I do? How do I hold this? Whatever. She'll pose you where it looks cute. Like I wouldn't know to like put my fingers this way. So let them do their good thing. Let them do what they're specialized in, but bring too much. Bring all the things, bring all the outfits. You might also try on an outfit the night before and feel like, dang, I look good in this outfit. And then you wake up the next morning, you're like, cool, now I feel bloated and I hate this. Right. So bring all the extra outfits, have everything ready. And that was fun. We just like mixed in some things. I never in a million years would have ever wore like a bralette and a blazer. She pushed me to do it. And like those are some of my favorite photos. And we like threw paper and it was like this fun little like badass moment. Like I probably wouldn't have did that on my own. So photographer is huge, finding that right person that can help push you, but make you feel comfortable, make sure their final product aligns with what you're looking for, and then bring too much. Have all the things. I printed out paper with our stuff, our logos and different words on it, like words that we are trying to elicit and want our clients to feel. I had those just printed out. No idea what we we're going to use them for, but we just had stuff, right? Have the business cards. I put my logo. I just ordered stickers online and put my logo on everything. And everyone's like, wow, like this is literally the first month I was in business. And they're like, wow, you have all these like things and swag with all these. I'm like, yep, nope, it's just a sticker. Like it was probably $10, I think $10, $15. I just ordered the sticker, put it on everything. Like you don't have to be expensive, fancy, but it's the perception, right? Everyone immediately, my business went from non-existent, no one even knew that I had a business, to I had this perception because I had this professional brand shoot done. I had these logos on everything. I looked confident. I had this energy that I was trying to portray. My words were like subconsciously throughout that I was trying to elicit. So that's the key. I was able to give off the energy I was looking for. And then yeah, now like we've used those that one actually well, now it's been 2 shoots, but those 2 shoots we've used everything. And the other key, an outfit note really quick. Think because a lot of times it's headshots, right? Or we're gonna like cut out the background. So you probably don't want strapless, and we probably don't want everything like a nudie color. So you don't necessarily want crazy pops of colors or crazy patterns either. Like neutral's your friend, because then if I'm on a blue background, great. If I'm on a pink background, great. If I'm on whatever to match someone else's marketing for their event, great. But you probably don't want like super nude where it blends in with your skin, or strapless where then like, okay, cool, now my headshot, I look naked. So think that too of like, how are these things going to be used? What all can I be in front of? Because that will just help maximize the opportunities, because they're not the most cute thing in the world, right? Like you're probably going to spend anywhere from 500 to 2,000, depending on how long you do, how many pictures you get, like what all is involved, and the quality of the photographer and just what they're charging, studio fees, etc. But like make that investment once, be extremely intentional, get a crap ton of photos that you can intermix and use in lots of things. And don't worry about like, oh my gosh, I want to lose 5 pounds first before the photo shoot, right? Because like, love you all. I'm a woman too. I'm pregnant right now, and that doesn't even help anybody's business. But like, we're not going to get there. We're probably not going to get there, right? We're never, because as soon as we lose the 5 pounds, I want to lose 5 more, or I want to go get Botox, or I want to get a different outfit. So I love you. This is coming from love, because I feel the same way. Just go get it done. Go get the brand shoot and go get more business and go get in front of more people, because then you can have all those things. And then I can have another brand shoot and then another one and get in front of more people. So just go do it. Brooke or Nicole,
Yeah,
any other
I
thoughts
think
on that?
another thing too, like, because as again, real estate agents, right, the things that you use those branding photos for a lot of the time are potentially like on your real estate signs, on social media posts and different things. So be intentional, right? Like if you know that you're gonna want to post just solds, like we still want to post those. So maybe you want something with a sign that says just sold, right? And then you use that every time as your just sold photo. You know, anything like when you start thinking through like what are the things that I want to post or I want to do, to have like that fun picture with it is kind of cool. Also, thoughts, we've done a couple photos now, like I think this one, for example, Marissa's looking to the left. Like that's kind of a cool thing to think about. Also, if you do the finger pointing, like what? There's a picture of me on the phone. There's this picture of me on the phone, and I'm like, Like, oh my God, like, I'm so excited on the phone. Like, what the heck just like, what just came through my phone? And that picture, like, we actually can use it. Like, we've used it a couple times. Like, have you heard? You know, and it's like me all excited on the phone. Same thing. Just got my offer accepted, or like when the other agent calls with good news. You know what I mean? Like, those are, Nicole's done some where she's holding a phone out and she puts, it's a black screen, but she can put stuff on the screen, right? So those are kind of
Like
like, as real.
cheersing, champagne, like, because then you
Yes,
can do
like
for your closing
this.
calls, like congratulations in an email, right? Where it's like, we're clear to close, congrats, here's what to expect. Like, how fun would it be if like you're the GIF or you're the picture, right? Of like the popping the champagne. It just makes it like feel so much more professional and
Yeah.
just fun because like it's you throughout this whole thing versus just like some static GIF.
And I really like these, like when you're doing, I mean, this is for a presentation, right? And I'm not saying like, again, that you guys would ever use, you might not ever need to make a presentation with photos of yourself on it. But even when I was creating real estate signs for myself, I wanted my picture on it. And the picture I used was actually me looking like off to the side. But I liked it because I like looking at the words, like it redirects your energy to the words. You see my face, but it's still pushing you to look at the words,
Yeah.
right? So I
One
do
more
kind of
quick
like.
tip. So one, there's my sticker, right? Looks like a fancy water bottle, just a $2 sticker or whatever the heck that I got off online and just put it on a water bottle I already had. You do not have to be fancy. Two, if you don't have printed guides and stuff yet, because I didn't have any of that either. I didn't even know what I wanted to be selling yet as a guide. We had no idea, it did not exist. I printed extra stuff. I stole a guide, not stole, right? Like it was totally fine that I took it, but like basically stole a guide from one of the offices that we work for and put my thing under their thing and just taped it on top. In a picture from far away, you can't tell the difference. They have no idea that that's not this big fancy looking guide with just a printed piece of paper on top. Like no one needs to know. You can totally have this perception of all of these cool things, right? Think billboard effect. How do I just show and look like I have 700 things with the illusion that I spent $5 and just like an hour of effort and some printing, right? How do we help perceive that?
And I think too, I remember when I first started doing like professional photo shoots too, all kinds of people were like, oh my gosh, you're doing like really well. Like, it's just like this perception of well curated photos exudes a professional, like, it's like people interpret that as like you are the professional, like you're investing into this, like you took these pictures for something, and like you have to have fun with it too. I mean, the photographer who I use often, there's a lot of photos that I won't use, but there's a lot more that I will. So I like to have the fun photos for when I do want to have some sort of fun post. Like that picture of Marissa is, first of all, it's a fantastic picture of you, by the way. Like your profile, everything is perfect. Look at that. Look at her jawline. Look at that. Love it.
Just good makeup.
Get out of here. Stop it. So, I think having those photos is really important. One thing I will say is if you are going to do a brand shoot, and this is where I messed up, bring somebody with you. Because you want those behind the scenes, because as you know, photos are great, but what do we really want to see? Video. We like to see the behind the scenes. Like, yeah, we love the pretty pictures. Like, those are great. We love the pretty pictures, but people also want to see the behind the scenes of what's going on. So bring a friend with you, especially if you're somebody who's a little bit nervous in front of the camera. You gotta lighten up. You gotta be able to move. Like if you're just sitting there like very static, like, no, this is not like Napoleon Dynamite. We're not like putting our hand under our chin. Like you can't. You have to be more relaxed. You have to be more authentic. Like you have to be who you are. And so, or, what your brand is portraying, like, so I'm going to give an example. Julie's not on here today, but Julie did photos with the same photographer that I use and that Marissa and Brooke used. She was like, I don't want to have the same kind of photos as Brooke and Marissa because I want to be more like, she's older than us and she wanted to be more like more luxury style photos.
I
that's
loved her
gonna look a
photos.
lot different. What'd you say?
I love her photos.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
gonna
them.
look a lot different than being in jeans and sitting on the floor with a microphone, right? Like totally different vibe. So you have to go into it, like you said, with intention. What is it that I want? And one thing I love about the photographer that we use is she does a Zoom call with you beforehand to get an idea of what you're looking for. So when you guys, for those of you who aren't near us, who, can't use this photographer, or, you could always come up and do a shoot with her, but, having that phone call to set the vibe of here's what I'm looking for. This is what I want. This is what I need. And then figuring that out. Like let's say you are trying to create Canva templates or whatever, and you never seem to have the right photo, write it down. Write down that you need a photo looking to the left, or you need a photo where you're looking up, or you need a photo where you're leaning other way. I realize in every single one of my photos, I lean on my right arm. I never lean on my left. I never look the other way, because this is my side that I like more. So I have no photos of me leaning the opposite direction or looking the other way. So like I've taken note of that to make sure that I know you can flip it, but I always feel weird when I flip photos.
I know, but
I do
it
too.
works. It literally works.
It does work,
Crop
but
out the RU.
but it doesn't look quite the same. Like, I do get what you mean, Nicole, like, because your body, like, I don't know, you have that better side or like whatever, and it just flips how things are. But you could in theory just do that. But yes, I hear you.
It is, I just think it's something to take note. Like if you are constantly trying to create content and you don't seem to have the right photo, just take note of it, so then you can have that for the next time. But seriously, invest in some great photography and some, have a friend come to do B-roll. Make sure that friend knows what you're looking for too. So then they know, hey, I want photos of me doing this. I want or videos of me doing that. Make sure the videos are at least 7 to 10 seconds long. Like, don't just take 2-second snippets and no zooming in and zooming out and zooming in, because you can't use that crap. So make sure that you have somebody who's on the same page as you, who knows exactly what you're looking for. I think that's really, really important. And if you're not finding what you want with a photographer, just, look outside of your area a little bit. Like maybe it's worth, Jamie's an hour plus away from me. She's worth the drive. I'd happily drive out to go and see her, to do her photo, get photos from her, because I like the way she does my photos. So that's really all I had to say about that. But I think it's important. It's really important. It does show a lot more of who you are. Like you can still, and you have to think too, your feed is kind of like your storefront, right? Like how do you want people to see you if they were walking by your store? What are they looking at? Like, what are they seeing in the windows? And then your stories are more, okay, you walked in the store. Now, what am I seeing? What's here? What can I buy? What do I want? Do I want to be here? Do I even like this place? Do you have to walk around and look and go like, oh, this is not for me, and then leave? Like, you want to make sure that you are showing who you are on both things, but a little bit more so in the stories too.
Right. So I think that kind of to wrap everything up, I think a good point to make is just realize that your brand is really what people say about you when you're not in the room. So if you are looking at your brand from the outside in, right, as someone looking in, just being like, okay, what is that? What do they stand for? Does this look expensive? Does this look legit? Does this look real? Right? Those are all important things to think about, because when we're involved in our brands and we're in the mix of it, we feel all those things. But a lot of the times, if we saw our same brand and looked at it as someone else's, we wouldn't actually believe that, right? So we need to make sure that if we're looking from the outside in and they have someone who has no idea who we are, we still feel all of these things about ourselves. So your homework today is to look at what is your story. And if you can't explain why your brand matters, no one else will. So you should have the story, you should have the meaningful brand. And if you don't know all of the answers to these questions, then you have some work to do, which is fine, because now you found the hole, you found the problem, right? Like, we need to know what our brand stands for and what it's about. and think about what we can do to make that, you know, known to everybody. But write your story, own it, and share it. And that's how we believe we have grown, and we think that it can help you too. That's it for me.
So
Love it.
does anybody have any questions about branding, or like, do you have any questions about maybe you're stuck, you just don't know how to brand, or you don't know what it is that you're trying to accomplish, or maybe you just have questions? Does anybody have anything for us? Look at Beth's put her face on. Anyone, you just come off mute if you have questions or comments. Really? Not a single one of you? Beth came off. Go ahead.
What's your photographer's name and number?
She goes by, and you follow her on Instagram, but it's Her Brand Photography, and her name's Jamie. Oh, Brooke put her in the chat too. Yeah, Her Brand Photos. There's another girl too who does a great job, Melissa Douglas. She's well known in the area too. I just really love Jamie's vibe. Like, she's gotten photos of me that I feel like she does a fantastic job, like just getting you to kind of come out of your shell. And I mean, and not everybody's a good fit for Jamie too. She's like, she has a hard time working with people who are very shy. Like, if you're going to take 25, 30 minutes to warm up a little bit, that's where it's hard. So I think that's also where like her Zoom and beforehand comes into play, because you can get familiar with her. You kind of plan out outfits. Like, she's got like Pinterest boards and all kinds of stuff. But, you know, if you're looking for a certain aesthetic or something like that, or, you know, there's so many fun things you can do. I mean, you're a lender, Beth. So like, I've seen people do things where they're like in a bathtub, like throwing money in the air and doing different things, like different fun stuff that you could do that's not necessarily just a headshot, right? Like, we could just have a headshot, but the lifestyle photos, I think, are more important now than just having a headshot for your email, you know?
Yeah.
Or your LinkedIn.
So you want to think your website too. Go ahead, Brooke.
Sorry. I will say too, just the point with Jamie, I know you said this doesn't work well with people that are shy. So something for me, you may not think it if you know me, I seem the least bit shy, but deep down I am kind of a shy person. So I was very, very nervous for photos, like extremely nervous. I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna be. I don't know if I can act that way. Like, Marissa did so good when she went. Like, I don't think I can do that. Like, I don't feel photogenic. I don't like pictures of myself usually. So she actually, like, we talked before and I was like, you can't show me the photos. Like, the thing with me is if you take a picture of me and I don't like it, the whole session's ruined because now I think I'm ugly. So that was like a thing. And she was like, well, I feel like I need to show you. So like, I know I'm on the right track. And I was like, no, you literally can't. Like, you can show Marissa and Marissa might be like, oh, try this. But if I see my own face, it's over. We have to leave. We're done. We're finished. And so like about 40 minutes in, like I like loosened up and she was like, okay, can I show you one? Because you have a really good one I want to show you. And then she showed me one that was great. And then I was so good. Because then I saw one amazing picture, I loosened up and I was fine. But it is awkward and it's hard. But like, again, I just told her that before, like on the Zoom call, that I was really nervous. I was just really like vulnerable with her and just told her like, I'm nervous about this. And like, I get weird about these kinds of things, like about me and pictures and whatever. And she was really great with like working around those problems with me. So just kind of a cool little tidbit. Okay, anybody else? Anybody else?
Sorry, my daughter FaceTimed me from the grocery store, so sorry. You're fine, Mia, that's fine. Sorry. No, you're right. I mean, I'm so shockingly as well, I call myself an extroverted introvert. Like, I am very shy too. I am self-conscious about everything. Like, you know, fixing my pants, fixing my shirt, fixing my hair, like, oh my God, what about my chins? Like, how many do I have in this photo? Like, I'm the same way. But you know, I think that you just have to kind of like trust that Jamie's not going to shoot you from the angle where you're like, you know,
Yeah.
you have chins. She's going to, you know, the photographer, not even necessarily Jamie, but the photographer is going to want to get the best shot of you. But I totally understand what you're saying, Brooke, about that. But I think it's important too, like planning for a photo shoot, like you were talking a little bit earlier about this. You want clothes that fit you well. That is the biggest thing. I see a lot of people who they're comfortable in like baggier things, but when it comes to professional photos, you need more tailored and more fit things. And I'm not saying you have to go out and have somebody tailor your clothes. You just need more of like a slim fit. I found this out the hard way several times where I wore like a billowy sleeve shirt and I look like I'm 700 pounds. Like I look huge. Like it's weird. And then I got this like little tiny head and then like my arms look huge. And so I didn't realize like in person, I think it looks nice, but in photos, it did not photograph well. So you have to kind of think about how things are going to photograph and, you know, thinking about thinking ahead. How can I use these photos? What am I looking to accomplish? You know, how can I include my branding like Brooke and Marissa did? I've brought like my scout guide. I've brought that with me. I've brought my and the same thing Brooke and Marissa were talking about. I didn't have something created yet. So I just made like a picture. I printed out a picture and taped it to the front of one of my old guides because I hadn't gotten, oh no, that's what it was. I hadn't gotten them in yet. They were printed, but I hadn't gotten them. So like I bring my my sold guide, my marketing guide, and I just take pictures. Like you could do flat lays with them where they're laying on the ground or laying on a table. You could do them where you're covering, you know, covering your face. And so all they can see is the sold. You know, there's a lot of different things you can do. I think, you know, in my opinion, bringing like a sold sign is cheesy. I just think it's cheesy. But if that's what somebody wants and needs, I mean, I have photos with that and I use them. I made little gifts out of them too. Like, you know, you can do things with them. I just think thinking about the more lifestyle type photos, you're not necessarily going to be holding a just sold sign. You're going to be like adjusting a flower vase. You're going to be, you know, putting a table setting down or sitting at a table with your coffee or like my guilty pleasure of my Pepsi here, which I will never put on my branding. I should, because it is my guilty pleasure. But, you know, like having things with you that represent who you are. One of my favorite branding shoots I ever saw a girl do, she loves Taco Bell and she did a whole branding shoot with Taco Bell. And she talks about Baja Blast and Taco Bell all the time. And I loved that she incorporated that into her branding. Like, I just thought it was so clever and cute. And like, you know, she's over here eating a Nacho Bel Grande with, you know, and her pictures. I'm like, that was so smart. Like, it's so cute to incorporate those things about you, you know, like maybe you have a certain color that you wear all the time. Like, obviously you're going to want that in your branding shoots. Making sure that the other thing I think is important too is making sure you understand what colors look good on you. And I think that's why the neutrals always, I think I have, if you guys have seen my branding, I've had a hot pink blazer in my headshots for a very long time. I got rid of that and now more neutrals. I keep with the black, the whites, the creams, the browns. Like it just is much more versatile than using like a hot pink or a bright color, unless it's your branding colors, which my branding colors were never really pink. I was brand new realtor. I had a hot pink blazer. Like it just so happened like that's what I wore. And I didn't know what to do because I never had taken branding photos before. So, and I think too, if you are not a dress person, probably don't wear a dress. If that is not your style, don't wear it. Like, don't do things that are not you, which could also be like, maybe you don't like tight fitting clothes. You like looser fit clothes. You just have to make sure that they photograph well. And that's where like a photographer will tell you, hey, like that outfit is really cute. We might just have to like clip it in the back to make it tighter in certain areas. So then it fits well and doesn't just look like a balloon, you know, or like a tent. Because I've seen some people with really cute dresses on that are bigger but they just kind of tighten it up in the back and it makes it just look cinched in a little bit, and it makes it look 100 times better. And how many of us have tried on clothes and we're like, ooh, that is not what I thought it was gonna look like. But I think, yeah, having those things, having like the little things, even like, you know, like bringing like pens or markers or whatever with you, different stuff. If you are a calendar person, like a paper calendar person, bring that with you. If you like books, bring those with you. If you like whatever it is, bring all that stuff with you. Like Marissa said, overpack. When Marissa, I was laughing though, Brooke, when you were just talking about like the photos and all that stuff, because when I'm with you two and we're trying to do photos, I am so friggin' awkward. It is so like, it's funny to me because you're like, cheers, like you just, you know, gotta clear to close. And I'm like, like, I don't know how to do it. I don't know what to do with my hands. Like, I feel weird. But when I get like, if you have to be in the groove, you know, and I think sometimes I feel awkward too, because I'm not feeling as confident as I would like to be, or whatever it might be. You know, I think you just have to kind of let that go a little bit and see what comes up. But I think this was great. Does anybody else have anything, any questions, ideas, thoughts, things that they've done in the past that they loved? No, I can't believe nobody's got anything. All right. Well, ladies, thank you guys all for coming today. Next week, we have Emily Grish, who's going to be coming on, and she's going to be talking about farming. And she's done a lot with farming her neighborhoods, and she's getting a lot of return now with that. She's been very consistent with that. And so she's going to be on next week talking about farming. And first of all, her marketing is beautiful. So I'm excited to see what she's got for us. But please join us for next week. We'll be here again at noon. And thank you, Brooke and Marissa. That was great. I loved every bit of it. So thank you all for joining us today. And if you haven't, get your level up tickets because they are regular price now. You missed out on the early bird deal, but get your tickets so we can see you all there on April 30th in Ann Arbor. All right. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for having us. See you.
Bye.